Spain does not have just one way to obtain residency, and that's exactly the mistake many people make. Most people think the only options are residency through work or marriage, when in reality, Spain is one of the European countries with the most legal pathways to regularize your status, even if you entered as a tourist or if you still don't have a work contract. In this video, I'm going to explain all the real options that currently exist to apply for residency in Spain, who can apply for each one, and in which situations each pathway makes sense. Because choosing the wrong type of residency doesn't just cost you time, it can also make you lose money and opportunities. Hello, I'm Sawyer, and I'm part of the LivinEurope team, where we help people understand what migrating to Europe really looks like. Visas, residency permits, studies, work, and migration strategies tailored to each profile, not generic solutions. Before we go into each type of residency, it's important to understand something key. Spain doesn't operate with just one migration strategy. There are residence permits designed for students, others for workers, others for people with income from abroad, for entrepreneurs, for family members of EU citizens, and also regularization pathways for those who are already in the country. In this video, we're not going to idealize things or promise shortcuts. We're going to look at what options actually exist, which ones are faster, which ones require more documentation, and in which situations each one makes sense. This way, you can understand where you fit before making decisions. And before we start, a quick reminder. Subscribe to the channel if you want more clear and updated information about migrating to Europe. At LivinEurope, we offer free personalized consultations if you're unsure which European country to move to. To access them, simply message us on Instagram and we'll explain the conditions based on your case. Now let's begin and review all the options that currently exist to apply for residency in Spain. 1. Student residence permit. Student residence is one of the most common ways to legally enter Spain. It applies to people who come to study a bachelor's degree, master's degree, PhD, advanced courses, or vocational training. It's not a work residence permit, but it does allow you to work a limited number of hours while studying. It's ideal for people who want to enter Spain in an organized way, gain time in the country, and later modify their status to a work residence permit. The common mistake is thinking that any course works. Not all institutions or programs qualify for a valid residence permit. 2. Residence and work permit, employment. This is the classic residence permit with an employment contract. It requires a job offer in advance, approved by immigration authorities. The main challenge is that not all profiles qualify easily because the employer must justify the hiring. It works best for technical profiles, sectors with labor shortages, or people who are already regularized. It's not the fastest pathway, but it's one of the most stable once obtained. 3. Self-employment residence permit. This residence permit is for people who want to start a business or work as freelancers in Spain. It requires a realistic business plan, financial resources, and proof that the project is viable. It's not impossible, but it's not automatic either. It works best for people with previous experience, digital services, local commerce, or clear professional activities. The typical mistake is underestimating the administrative and tax requirements. 4. Social rooting, arraigo social. Social rooting is one of the most commonly used pathways for people who are already living in Spain without residency. It usually requires 3 years of continuous stay in the country, a work contract or financial means, and a social integration report. It's a real pathway to regularization, but not an immediate one. It works when someone has already built a life in Spain and can prove it with documentation. 5. Labor rooting, arraigo laboral. This type of rooting applies when you can prove that you worked in Spain irregularly for at least 6 months within a 2-year period. It's less common but very powerful when it can be demonstrated. It requires strong evidence such as court rulings, labor inspection reports, or administrative resolutions. It's not an improvised pathway, but it is a real option in certain cases. 6. Family rooting, arraigo familiar. Family rooting applies when you have a direct relationship with Spanish or EU citizens, For example, parents of Spanish minors or children of Spanish citizens. It's one of the fastest pathways when the requirement is met because it does not require years of previous stay in Spain. Many people qualify without realizing it and lose time unnecessarily. 7. Training routing, arraigo para la formación. This is one of the newest and least known options. It allows you to regularize your status by committing to complete official training aimed at employment. It's designed to facilitate entry into the labor market. It's not automatic and not every course qualifies, but when used correctly, it can become a legal pathway for people who don't have other immediate options. 8. Non-lucrative residence permit. The non-lucrative residence permit is for people who do not need to work in Spain and can demonstrate sufficient income from abroad. It's very common among retirees, investors, or people with savings. It does not initially allow work, but it can be modified over time. The most common mistake is not properly proving financial resources or assuming it allows work from the beginning. 9. Digital nomad residence permit. Spain now offers a specific residence permit for remote workers and freelancers who work for companies or clients outside Spain. It's currently one of the most attractive pathways, but it requires meeting fiscal, contractual, and income requirements. It's not for just anyone who works online, but when structured correctly, it can be an excellent option. 10. Residence as a family member of an EU citizen. If you have a partner, spouse, or direct family member who is a citizen of the European Union, you may access the EU Family Member Residence Card. It's one of the most solid residence permits and comes with fewer work restrictions. The key requirement is proving the genuine and stable relationship according to Spanish regulations. 11. Residence through investment and special cases. Spain has significantly reduced the traditional investment-based residency options. Today, the existing pathways are more focused on real business projects, economic interest, or innovation, not automatic property purchases like before. It's a very specific pathway and not applicable to most people. As you can see, Spain does not have just one way to obtain residency. It has multiple pathways, and each one works depending on your personal situation. Whether you come to study, to work, if you're already in the country, if you have family ties, if you work online, or if you have income from abroad. The biggest mistake is trying to apply for the wrong type of residency and losing time, money, or even legal opportunities. At Living Europe, we help people who want to migrate or regularize their status in Spain, but don't know which residency option actually fits their situation. That's why we're offering free, personalized consultations. To access one, message us on Instagram and we'll explain the conditions and the next step based on your profile. Now tell me in the comments, which type of residency interests you the most? Or what situation are you currently in? Thanks for watching this video. Follow us, subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next one.